Alright guys, before we start this video, I need you to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and hit that subscribe button. If we can get this video to 100,000 likes in the first 24 hours, I will send one of my randomly drawn subscribers 99 pennies in honor of HUMBL stock dipping to 99 cents. Are you worried about your HUMBL position? Don't be. If you're one of the few lucky ones who got into the stock back in December, you had the chance to see some massive 1000% gains. It was a good time for HUMBL and the stock market in general. There was a lot of euphoria in the air, we were popping bottles in the club, and we were making it rain. It was just an all-around good time for many reasons. But as a lot of you know, all good things must come to an end. Since that time, HUMBL stock has lost upwards of 80% of its value, making it a tough pill to swallow for a lot of investors. All of the partying and the good times quickly evaporated, leaving investors with mere fractions of their initial investment, crying in the corner as HUMBL stock came to give us another beating for being a worthless piece of shit investor. So, are you feeling good about your investment yet? Well, I have some good news for you. I've already given you guys a lot of updates with HUMBL, so in this video I'd like to provide you with more of my specific thoughts on HUMBL, and to remind you of all the reasons why HUMBL has a competitive advantage, and what you should do if you are currently in a position in HUMBL stock right now, and maybe are feeling frustrated. Even though I'm sure a lot of you are wishing you could have just sold HUMBL at the $7 peak, I'm here to tell you that I think $7 is going to be nothing compared to where the stock is going to be several years from now. So when investing in a company that's beginning to start tanking, going further and further down into the abyss without a bottom in sight, I think it's important to take a step back and realize why you invested in this stock in the first place. So when investing, I know sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in the actual stock and the numbers we see on the screen. I'm guilty of this myself. But in certain cases, I think it can be extremely beneficial to dissociate yourself from the actual stock and look at the company you're investing in as a whole, and remember exactly why you invested in them in the first place. And I hope I don't sound too hyperbole when I say I think HUMBL has the potential to legitimately change the world. I think there's some people out there that might argue, man, there's already so many financial apps like PayPal, what good is HUMBL? Well, first off, PayPal is not a global platform. In fact, there are billions of people in the world who do not have access to PayPal, as PayPal is only offered in certain regions. Even platforms like Venmo and Cash App are limited. Plus, these are all platforms that have high fees for every transaction. And this is what I think investors and future investors in HUMBL need to understand. HUMBL wants to provide users with same-day transactions at incredibly low fees, which HUMBL is promising to be around 1%, instead of the more traditional 3 to 5%. They'll have access to NFT marketplaces, cryptocurrencies, and much more. And in my opinion, HUMBL is a very forward-thinking tech stock that Wall Street just doesn't get yet, but that's fine with me. HUMBL is still such an early company with many years ahead of it to run. So moving on, the globalization of our economy is happening whether we like it or not, and HUMBL is seeking to pull in the remainder of the population into the digitized economy that has been created by first world nations. HUMBL is actually one of the very few companies on the race to have a Web 3.0 compatible system, Web 3.0 being the next evolution of the internet. So I think the most mature and sophisticated way to explain the evolution of the internet is by using Pokemon. In ye olden times of Netscape, we can think of that period as Charmander. And in the era of Facebook and Uber, where we currently reside, we have Charmeleon. And lastly, we are just on the cusp of heading into Charizard territory this century, in the era of Web 3.0. And you can kind of think of Web 3.0 as a more borderless, free, highly intelligent, and more secure internet that runs on a decentralized blockchain system. Our world is changing fast, and with that, technology companies will need to either sink or swim. Some will die off, some will adapt, and new technology platforms will be created. And HUMBL is one of those new platforms that is currently being created with the future of the internet and the world in mind. Now, another thing to keep in mind that is extremely important: what is the total addressable market for a product like HUMBL? Because at the end of the day, you can have one of the most ingenious products ever created, but if there's no need for that product, then in a way, it doesn't even matter. And to answer this question, I'm going to be looking to something that Cathie Wood said. She said that digital wallets and genomics are the next two biggest disruptive trends after Tesla and electric vehicles. So what exactly does this mean? Well, HUMBL of course is providing digital wallet services, and after doing some digging around on some digital wallet statistics, this is what I found. The number of digital wallet users globally will increase from 2.3 billion in 2019 to 4 billion in 2024, and global non-cash transactions will grow to nearly 1.1 trillion in 2023 from 708.5 billion in 2019, according to the World Payments Reports 2020. So in short, the TAM for HUMBL is the entire world, and this is actually something that is really comforting as a HUMBL investor, because think about it, there are roughly 7.6 billion people in the world right now, and just the estimate that 4 billion people are expected to own at least one digital wallet within the next 3 years looks really promising. Of course, it doesn't mean that all 4 billion people will own a HUMBL wallet, but being that a majority of the world has very limited options when it comes to digital wallets right now, it's definitely setting HUMBL up for being a prime candidate. So to wrap all this up, if HUMBL is able to execute their game plan where they have HUMBL Marketplace, HUMBL Pay, and HUMBL Financial all packaged into their platform, then HUMBL is going to be a monster of a stock. And at this point, I see it as highly unlikely that this company fails. Extremely unlikely, I would go as far to say. Of course, there could always be an off chance that it might fail, right? But man, at least in my eyes, that chance is almost non-existent. HUMBL is doing a lot of good things right now, and I think we're going to be seeing some amazing things from this company over the next few years. So if you plan on selling HUMBL shares right now, go for it, because I will gladly buy them from you. But yeah, guys, that's what I've got for you guys today. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.